Hi guys, welcome back to Girls
Guys.
and Gossip Podcast hosted by yours truly, Aoife
and Josh.
Let's get it started.
Right. So I think in honour of it being Wicked Week, we need to talk about Wicked for Good and our whole opinion on it. Yeah. So we had to wait a little bit of time. So I went on release day because I cannot. I'm one of them. Like if there's a film I really want to watch, I have to go on release day.
Yeah.
I can't deal with the spoilers. Like I actually can't.
I obviously didn't because one, Tuesdays I get my Meerkat movies, so I was getting it cheaper.
Little
and two,
side flex there.
I've obviously seen it in theatre, so I know what happened. So it was a bit different for me. Because I knew it wasn't like a spoiler thing for me. So I'm like, it's going to be roughly the same storyline.
Yeah. Like, well, the thing is, I think obviously it's important to note, like you said, you know what happened. I had no fucking clue. I had no clue because, sorry, I don't really like musicals. Believe it or not, I don't really like musicals, and I don't like. They're just not my bag. And do you know what's like? Musicals, I don't like. Long ass films, I don't have the attention span for normally. Anything over like an hour and 45, you are pushing for my time. Hour 50 max. They were like, what, 2.5 in the end?
Yeah, something like the first one was like 2.5, second one was 2.
Yeah.
Altogether, you're in there like nearly 5 hours.
Yeah, like absolutely not. So I genuinely had no idea going into it what it was going to be like. Like I knew that it was based off The Wizard of Oz, because who doesn't know that? You don't need to be a big fan to know that. But I had no idea. So that's why I had to go on release day, because I was like, if someone spoils this for me, after not only did I have to sit through 2.5 hours the year before and wait a whole year, I'm going to be livid if someone on TikTok reads it for me.
Yeah, 100%.
So, yeah, I'll let you start about what you think.
So, do we want to talk like my opinion in the difference to the theatre to the film, or just my overall opinion on the film?
Why not both? I think it's interesting about the theatre because I don't know what the theatre's like. I have to say,
there were some bits in the film that they very quickly skipped over. So the whole process of Nessa becoming the Wicked Witch of the East, there's a lot more in depth about that in the theatre. Yeah. Like I feel like it just happened really quickly. Like they ran over that very quickly. The house felt, and no one wants to know about her anymore. Do you know what I mean?
What? In the cinema when we were, people started cheering. People started cheering. Do you know what? I was one of them. She deserved it.
But also the whole thing about where she makes her fly with the slippers in the theatre. I understand the process of that is very, very different because she actually is in a wheelchair in real life. So, but in the theatre, Elphaba makes her walk because if she wears a shoe, she can just walk and she just strolls about freely.
Yeah.
There's none of this fucking floating business.
Well, I was looking for that.
Me and Mum looked at each other and we were like, what? Like, obviously, I understand like that concept. They've been inclusive. They've tried to include everyone they could. And having someone who actually is in a wheelchair is a good idea because most of the film she's in a wheelchair, except for that one part where she's supposed to walk, but instead she just flies.
Yeah.
But equally, the shoes, obviously, in the theatre, they're always red because they're the ruby slippers. Yeah. And in that moment, they turn red. But then when it has that scene where Dorothy's got them on, they're back to silver again. So I was like, if she's turned them red, why not just keep them red? Because then it fits in with the Wizard of Oz.
I don't know how true this is, but the Wizard of Oz, like, they trademarked the shoes.
Right, because they also trademarked the Yellow Brick Road.
Yeah, like starts on a swirl, don't it? Yes,
so now
like
it just is a circle. So maybe that's why they have to be silver.
I reckon it's something to do with that. Is that, like, what else did they skirt over really quickly? Was that...
Well, obviously, there was 2 songs in it that aren't actually in the theatre. So the Girl in the Bubble one, and I don't know what the other one is.
Is it the Wicked Witch of the East?
No, that is in it. But there is supposed to be a really dramatic, loud, like powerful part of that song where she's the Wicked Witch, where she sings Wicked Witch of the East. And I think she just flopped it, to be honest. Some of the casting I don't agree with. Like Madame Horrible. The casting, I feel like there was that song where she was singing to like the Munchkins and whatever, and she just again made an absolute horrific mess of that.
Wow.
There was other. I get because they I think they wanted someone who was like Chinese or something to
Yeah.
do that role. I think because in the like that is in the book, that is what's going on there.
Yeah.
But I think that there was other actors that could have like done that role a lot better
100%.
and had the voice, because I think for this kind of movie you can't just be an actor, you have to be a singer as well. Everyone sings.
Well, I heard a rumor about that Michelle. How do you say her name? Is it Yo? Yeah, you. How about that? Michelle, right? Apparently, Cynthia and Ariana were the ones who pushed it through to get her in. But like Hannah Waddingham, is that how you say her surname?
I think so.
The really tall blonde lady who was in Benidorm.
Yeah.
Love her. I think she should have done it. And I know she auditioned.
She would have played a wicked
yeah.
witch properly.
And I'm all up for like, listen, I'm all up for like, you know, diversity with girls and gays and gossip, you know, we're all up for the diversity. But I feel like with the casting, like, listen, I'm no producer, I'm no expert, I'm just a viewer and like got an opinion. However, like, it shouldn't boil down to diversity. It should boil down to who deserves the role, who's best for the role.
100%.
Like, I don't care like what you are or how different you are. If you can sing and you can act, you should get the role. Yeah, it should go off who's the most talented. And I feel like that, like, listen, I'm no bloody Simon Cowell vocalist either, but I think I could have done a little bit better on that.
Yeah.
The auto-tuning was not good. But like, from somebody who has never seen the musical, genuinely didn't even know it existed until Ariana put up an Instagram post being like, I'm Glinda. So, what the fuck's this? Okay. This means no music. Great. I think that like number 2 was obviously not as good as number 1, like the second part, but everyone says that's the same in the theatre anyway.
It's because I think what makes them so different is the first part is very light-hearted and it's funny and it's happy, whereas part 2 is very dark. And I think that's where I think you can't quite appreciate that the second part is really good in terms of telling the story and then how quickly things went downhill, all because of the way that she was perceived as being a wicked witch when she was only trying to do good. It's just that she didn't have the facilities to do it and no one wanted to believe her. Whereas obviously part 1's very different. And I think, because you know what, I actually prefer the songs in the second part.
Really?
But I think that there were certain parts of it where I think, you know, For Good, there was too much going on. That because in that it's very much just them two in a dark room, and that's just them two singing. Whereas there was too much going on for my liking. I thought it distracted from the song. I felt personally.
Yeah, I actually do quite like that one. To be fair,
and as long as you're
you know,
mine.
Very cool.
I love that song.
You should have the fucking part.
I should have.
But duh. But like I. Like from somebody that like I've said, isn't a fan of musicals, isn't a fan of like, didn't even know this whole thing existed, and like I'm really letting my gaze down here, but I do not like The Wizard of Oz. Like I've probably watched it once in my life. It's not a film that I like or watch or anything. So I think it would have done me good to watch and know The Wizard of Oz. Like.
Yeah, because I think I messaged you to say, oh, like, because obviously I knew what the plot twist
that was. Yeah.
And I messaged you, like, what do you think of the plot twist? And you were like, what plot twist? I went,
Thank you.
The fact that she's still alive.
Yeah, I didn't know.
But obviously in The Wizard of Oz, she melts her. And it's basically, so in the theatre, I'm like 95% sure that Fiyero starts the rumour that water kills her when everyone knows, like, and the fact, like, Glinda obviously believes that they're dead, but Glinda was her roommate for however long. She'll know that she won't die from water. Do you know what I mean? But that's the whole. I'm sure he starts it. So then.
What, Snake?
No, but he does it because he knows it won't kill her. But then that's how they form like their plan.
Yeah.
And obviously, I'm sure as well, Elphaba knows that he's alive after the beating that he got. But in the film, it was like she didn't know until he got to her the fact that he was still alive. But I actually think when the monkey brought his like fabric of his clothing, I think there was a message on it, but they just didn't show us that she was reading. That he was still alive and this was the plan. Because that was his castle. And he'd made the reference about that he knew all of the passageways and the trapdoors and all of that.
Well, like, I saw a clip, like I said, I don't remember The Wizard of Oz because I don't watch it, right? But like, vividly remember the scene, because I saw it on TikTok like a few days ago, where she throws the water on her and kills her, but she has the Scarecrow, the Lion, and the Tin Man with her in the Wizard of Oz. So where the fuck were they in the film? Like, I know they were trying to cover it because they had like Glinda looking through a hole and you just saw the reflection. Do you know what I mean? In the Wizard of Oz, I literally remember because I watched it the other day.
Yeah.
She burns Fiyero, like the Scarecrow's arm, the wizard does, and then Dorothy, to save the Scarecrow, throws it over the Scarecrow, but it lands on the wizard, and then she just mounts on the floor, which obviously I assume she then goes under. But she had guards with her, and she had the three, like the Lion, the Tin Man, and the Scarecrow. Where
So
were they?
obviously, I think the whole point of it is because I like the fact that they didn't show the actor who was doing the Dorothy scenes, and it's because they didn't want to take away from the Wicked part. Obviously, this was showing you kind of behind the scenes of what was going on in the Wizard of Oz. That's the whole point of it. Obviously, Wicked was written after the Wizard of Oz.
Yeah.
But the whole idea of it is they're not trying to draw too much attention to the storyline of the Wizard of Oz. They're just trying to show how the stories intertwine with each other. So I think that's probably why they just showed the pivotal moment of her chucking the water, and that was it. Obviously, the Tin Man is Buck. The cub, the lion, is the cub that she freed in the first one.
Ungrateful cow, yeah.
And then, obviously, Fiyero is the Scarecrow.
You've just touched on the Tin Man. Can we talk about how scary he was?
That
was so scary.
Was too far.
Oh,
and the
my
fact
God.
that Nessa, you know what, she deserved the house on her, throwing Alphaba under the bus, saying it was her that did that to him.
Yeah.
If she was fixing Nessa's mistake.
Yeah.
But you know what I also don't get? How was Nessa able to read the Grimoire, even though they said only people with magic or whatever can actually read it and produce a spell? Because Madame Marble said that she could only read a few lines, but yet Nessa read half a spell to get rid of his heart.
You've cut through it there.
I have.
John Chu, is it, the producer?
But apparently they have like a thing on their website to say like what the spell at the end was, and it was like a spell of like friendship or something that basically Alphaba gave power to Glinda at the end.
I was going to touch on this because me and my friend had this disagreement over it, and it was one of those disagreements where I slowly realised I was in the wrong, but I was pride got in the way and I didn't want to admit it. I thought when I watched that scene at the end where the book was flicking and Glinda was looking at it, I thought that was Alphaba basically being like, I'm still alive. Like, I thought Alphaba was flicking the book so Glinda knows that she can do that, and Glinda knows that she's the only one who can do it, so she knows that she's still alive. That was what I thought, but then my friend was like, no, it means that she's given her powers. And then I think literally the day after, an interview come out with John Chu, the producer, who said that they'd give Glinda powers, well, Alphaba did.
Yeah. And it's because that's the one thing she always wanted, the whole, like,
yeah, she did.
That flashback where she was at her party.
Yeah.
She wanted powers, and that's all she ever wanted, I think.
Yeah. Like, as an overall thing, I enjoyed it. I do think the Cowardly Lion is one of the villains of the story. What a snake.
I know.
After Alphaba helped you. A couple of like improvements. I mean, the Tin Man was terrifying. Kind of hot though.
I'm not being funny. Those makeup artists deserve an award.
Oh, 1,000,000%.
The makeup that had gone into all of them, I was thinking, they deserve an award, especially just on the Tin Man alone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
And do you know what? I hate to say it. Yeah, Ethan did great. Like, Ethan did good in that. Like, I hate to give a man credit, but he did do well. I wanted more talking from the goat. What's his name? Dr. Dillerman. That broke my heart when you saw him in the cage. And then what was her name? On Bear. He brought up Alpha.
What's the name now?
What's her name? It's always a bear, isn't it? I've noticed
something
that.
Bear. Like Elsie Bear.
Elsie Bear. Something like, I think it is Elsie Bear.
I have no idea.
But like, I wanted more from Dr. Dillerman. He didn't even speak.
That's because he'd been pressured to not speak.
But when she helped them, I wanted them to speak. Also, what was with the variation of animals I never knew existed? I looked at some of those animals and I was like, what the fuck is going on?
It's a magical land.
I do think it was good and it was engaging and it went by like that, I will admit it. Like, it went by like that. Like, I was like, oh my God, like, I knew that when we got to For Good, I was like, okay, I know that we're by the end. Can we talk about the real villain was Dorothy? Dorothy was downstairs, heard For Good, heard these two women, you know, this beautiful friendship song for I'm still gonna kill the bitch. Like, I thought, Dorothy, you're the real fucking villain, love. But like, I thought it was
Poor
good.
girl just wanted to go home.
She did.
The Wizard of Alpha.
You know, but like, I liked it. I might let you put a video in. I sobbed from For Good to the end. That's
probably
why
what you missed.
Missed the big like surprise because I was too busy crying. Because, and to be fair, I'm going to be honest. I know that you're going to be like, because you are a fan. It was nothing to do with Wicked. It was nothing to do with the story. I was sat there, how cringe. Ariana. Like, I cried because of Ariana. I could not care. Like,
you know what? To be fair, me and Mum both said afterwards, we liked the film, yeah, but we'd much rather go and see it in the theatre.
really?
I have to say.
Wow.
I just think it's a different feel in the theatre.
Yeah.
I just don't know what it is. I just think, I don't know what the difference is, but just in the theatre, it just, you feel more for them.
Do you know what I think it is? Like, for me, I would probably go and watch it in theatre now because I like the story. Like, now I know the story, I would go and watch it. But in my head, I feel like I've done it the wrong way around in the sense of it's, you know, in my head, like the graphics and all of this, it'd be like watching the beta version of it, in my opinion.
You know what? It's actually really good how they do the stage and everything. It's very similar.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not on like the scale, but pretty much like the scenes and stuff is pretty much bang on.
My issue is it hasn't got Ariana. It had Ariana on that side.
You sit far back enough, you won't even be able to tell.
Yeah, there you go.
Just a blonde with a big dress.
There you go. But
You know
like, I feel like I enjoyed it, but I don't think it's one of those that I would go and revisit. Like, I haven't watched Wicked, the first part, since it came out last year. I haven't watched it again.
We did watch it like twice though last year, so
we did, and I'm going back again for Good. Like, after me just sitting here, like, but like,
you know what? At least this time you'll be able to see the end properly.
Exactly, because I won't be bloody crying. But do you prefer? I know that you said you prefer the songs than the first one. If you had to, gun to your head, pick to watch the film again, would it be the first or the second? Oh, you're thinking about this.
I really don't know. I actually really like the second part.
Yeah, no, it's really good.
I like the songs in the second part.
So what are you saying for good?
I don't know. I really don't know.
I think movie-wise, like if we're going film for film, I'd have to go the first one. But you know what it is?
I feel like me being me and like on the spectrum, I couldn't just watch the one because it's a cliffhanger regardless either way. Like, if you're missing something, I'd have to just watch it in one wham.
Yeah.
I hope not to be like, oh, I want a 5-hour film, but I do hope that they do like an extent like where they just mesh them together.
So did do that in cinemas?
I don't have to watch one and then go and find the other one to watch. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Because you know those ones where like Amazon Prime will have part one and then Netflix gets part two. Like, don't do this. I said, obviously I have both. It doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
Still, I'm like, no, I just want them to be. I want them to just mesh them together, just so I can. Or once it gets to the end of part one, be like, do you want to continue? Click yes, and then it will just start playing the second part. Do you know what I mean? I feel like that would save a lot of time for me.
I'm surprised you didn't do that for the cinemas. Because I know someone who did that, and I couldn't think of anything worse.
We literally thought about it, and after we went to watch part one, my back on the chair, I just decided, I was like, there's no way I can sit. Obviously, Mum watched part one at home. I didn't watch part one again from last year, but I think, again, it's very different. We know what happens.
Yeah, you've seen it.
So it's like, I know what's already happened going. Like, I've seen it in the theatre 5 times. It's not like, I'm not a pro at it at this point. Do you know what I mean? But equally, I was just like, there's no point in watching it again. But Mum watched it, but to be fair, she skipped through a lot of the songs that she's not a big fan of, like the Dr. Zillerman one. She's not really a fan of that one song. I don't like that song either.
I'm a Dr. Zillerman stan, so I will.
Yeah, stan of him, but I just really don't like that song.
Yeah. Okay. If you could only listen to one Wicked song from both films for the rest of your life, what would it be? And you can only have one. Or should we both say it on 3? I feel like mine's just a fucking basic one, but I'm going to say it anyway. Or do you want to guess what each of us is going to be?
Should we do 5 from each? part each
Okay,
half.
that's better.
Because otherwise I'm like, I can't be
too overstimulated to be fair.
That's too much for me.
Okay, are we both saying it on 3?
Yeah, so part 1 first.
Okay, part 1. 3, 2, 1. Popular.
Loathing.
What did you say?
Loathing. Unadulterated loathing.
My favourite bit is when Ariana's like, wow, my face is flushing. Like, her tone is so, like, that's what I love about Popular.
She's done it very, very well, too, because that's exactly what it's like in the theatre. It's a very, like, play joke.
Yeah.
She has mastered that perfectly. Alphaba, on the other hand, I would say there's certain things where she just didn't quite...
What, Cynthia?
Yeah, she didn't quite match what we were expecting as seen it 5 times.
Yeah. I mean...
Because every 5 times we've seen it, even though it's different actors doing it every time on the stage, they give the same energy every time. And
of course.
She wasn't quite...
up to scratch.
No.
See, there's a bit in Popular, the bit which goes, that really counts, and she really just really scratches my brain so perfectly. Well, like, Ariana rehearsed, like, because obviously she had to transition from pop music into theatre, and it took her, I think she said, over 6 months to master the art, working with a vocal coach every day. Because the way she sings, because I noticed, particularly in the first film, the way her jaw was moving, she was like, okay, but she was like really like prolonging her jaw when she was singing, which looked a bit funny at times.
What? Like, my hands go up to her because it's so hard to go between two. Obviously, I did stagecoach for 12 years, but my voice was trained classically. It was to do it for like a production. It wasn't to do it for like a bloody movie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, of course.
It's really, really hard to mix between the two.
Yeah, I think
you almost have to. You go into your like normal, and then you have to go up into like your head voice, but without it sounding like you're going like really straining your voice.
Yeah,
it's really hard.
Yeah, I think that's why she talks in a higher pitch as well now to preserve her voice or something.
I think that's why she's because there were certain bits where she was slipping through.
Yeah,
there was that song, and she was like, I think she said like appreciated or something, and it slipped. Yeah. Ariana slipped through there. That was not Glinda. That was Ariana.
That was Ari.
And I thought,
we need a bit of that though.
Please,
come on. Like,
I can't do with this little high pitched innocent voice anymore. I can't do it anymore.
We need Like the fact that she went from to like singing Popular is baffling. Okay, the second film. I feel like we're probably both going to say the same one. 3, 2, 1
as
for
long
good.
As you're mine.
Oh, the Jonathan and Cynthia one.
Oh yeah,
I quite like that one. To be fair, is that like that's in the musical? That one, a new one.
I can't think what the other song was.
I do think it's Wicked Witch of the East, babe. I really do.
It's not that, isn't it?
Or is it I'm Not That Girl, but Ariana's version?
No, that's also in it. It's a reprise, that one. I'm Not That Good. Reprise. You know what?
But
I have the actual like original Wicked album.
Oh, okay, yeah, so you can compare
it. I don't know if it's on this phone.
Okay, here's a question for you. Obviously, I won't be able to answer it. Vocally, do you prefer the soundtrack from the musical or the movie? Just based off the musical alone, like the songs and how they sing it and all that.
You know what? That's a really hard question because they have actually done really well.
I won't punch you in the face. Don't worry.
No. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
It's hard for me to make that choice because they have done it really, really perfectly. But they've gone based off the Idina Menzel and Kristen, whatever her name is, their recordings of the songs. Because obviously, that's the only recordings you'll get online is their one, and that's the 2003, which was the very first production of it. That's the one that you'll get. So they've listened over and over to those voices, and so they sound very, very similar, even in like the mannerisms within the song. They have it bang on. It's a really hard decision.
Yeah,
I have to say, not to be like I'm not answering any question, but I do find that a really hard one. I think even being able to see the songs, I think probably the film because it gives more than what you get on the stage.
Yeah,
but at the same time, I feel like there's more heart put into the ones on the stage. But I think it's because they're doing it live.
Yeah.
Whereas obviously those ones are recorded. But I get that that's their singing. But at the same time, they've recorded it with like in a recording studio, and then they're like,
yeah, no, 100%.
So I think you feel it more on the stage, but that's just because they're doing it literally right from the So if there's a mess up, you'll hear it on the stage.
Yeah.
But I remember there was one show, and it was one I watched in Birmingham. We've watched it in London and we've watched it London twice, and then Birmingham 3 times, I think, at the Hippodrome. But there was one where the understudy had to come on for part 2 because the girl blew her voice out doing Defying Gravity. So the interval was extended. It was extended by like 20 minutes just to paint the understudy. They were like, we're really sorry.
Get the green paint.
We'd now like to introduce so who's playing Alphabet because the other girl has heard her voice.
Oh my God.
You know, like the voice that speaks.
Yeah.
We were like, she must have really hurt her voice. But that is a really hard time.
No, to be fair, valid. Okay, I think from the movie to the press, I feel like at the moment, it's one of them situations where you can't talk about Wicked without talking about Ariana and Cynthia. Now, my whole opinion on this, coming from somebody that's been obsessed with like Ariana Grande since I was like, 7, 8 years old, like she's the wallpaper on the phone, you probably can't even see that. Anyway, I've never commented on her body. Like never, ever, ever. And trigger warning out here. Just like you've got it. I've never once commented on her body. Like for me, like I look at Ariana to the mic there. I go to Ariana for like her music. Like that's all she is. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. Like her performances, like her music, right? I don't like her because of the way that she looks. Like that doesn't even cross my mind. Do you know what I mean?
Voice.
Exactly. Voice of a generation, literally. I do think it's got to the point where it is actually alarming. And like I've never once commented on her body, and she's always been slim. And I've always sat there and gone, well, she's vegan. So she's not getting
not getting the nutrients that
do you know what I mean? Yeah. This is alarming. And I think it's alarming because it's not just her. So it's really scary.
It's her as well.
It's Madam Marble, you know, and Cynthia. There's something going on in Hollywood. I don't know if the Munchkins got killed on set and they're trauma bonding. I don't.
The Wizard of Oz all over again. So that's happening in the Wizard of Oz, and this is why everyone in the like social media is all saying like, is it a scenario like the Wizard of Oz again? Like,
yeah,
that is alarming. Like, obviously, I messaged you and I was like, oh, I'm not going to say like, I'm not going to be horrible and say it because I thought you'll literally come out to my house and shoot me or something. But I was doing it from a concern point of view because I was like, that she just it's not like she doesn't look good or she doesn't look she just looks unwell. That's what it is. Like she's lost that much weight, and I understand people like want to lose weight and whatever, and I also understand that people do have problems with trying to put weight on or even losing loads of weight. I understand that, but surely the people in Hollywood and the people around her are they not as concerned as everybody else? Because everyone is so concerned, yet
nothing's getting done about it.
And this whole relationship between Cynthia and Ariana is really creeping me out because she's treating her like she's like a China doll, like she's literally going to break if you poke her. Because this is why I was like, is she ill or something? This was what I was thinking. I thought, is this why everyone's being so protective over her?
Yeah.
I understand that guy that ran up to her because of everything that happened in Manchester. I get that.
Yeah.
But it's like in interviews where there was like a lad that had come up or something and he hugged her and Cynthia was there like this.
Oh my God, I saw that.
And I was just like, what is your problem? You have a whole girlfriend. Stop.
Yeah, leave it. Like, I do think it's weird. I do think that, like, for me, without trying to get too, like, weird now, like, when I was growing up, right, and I feel like this is a universal experience, this isn't just, like, this, but, like, the way that they both look is actually alarming and scary in the sense of, like, when I was a teenager, right, I would look to like Ariana for like, I'm talking everything right now, babe. Like I'm talking for like dress sense, like fashion. I still scrunch my sleeves. Like I still do the things that she did, you know, like opinions, how to carry yourself, your appearance, all of this. I would look to Ariana for that, like outside of my inner circle, obviously. I would look to Ariana for that. And I'm like, there's going to be kids that are looking up to Ariana and thinking that the way that she looks is the way that you need to look. And it's not. And it's like, I know this sounds really bad, but you've got a whole new generation now of audience that are looking up to you.
Yeah,
The same way that I was 10 years ago.
because you think
You need
things
to fix
like,
up now.
Victorious and stuff. That
Yeah.
was our age group growing up.
Yeah,
And then
exactly.
obviously her being a big pop singer, like for us. But now she's just had Wicked come out. There is a whole new generation. But equally, now that this is all over and done with, she'll start, fingers crossed, doing music again.
Yeah.
So she's then going to have that whole generation coming from Wicked to go to her for singing. And that's where, you know, it's very different because we've seen her at a completely different stage in her life to where she's at now.
Mm-hmm.
And it is very alarming. Like, if you look at, like, the comparison for what she used to be and what she is now, it's not even that she looks bad or she doesn't look like, it's just that she looks unwell.
Yeah, yeah.
And obviously she's quite pale already, which I think doesn't help with making herself look ill. But it's the fact, like, there's nothing to her anymore. Like, you can literally see her bones. But it's not even just her. Cynthia is the exact same. Like, if there was a photo of her, like, just before her audition for Alphabet, I get it's been 3 years of filming, and that has probably took a lot of toll trying to film that. That's probably been a lot of dancing, a lot of movement, a lot of singing. It's took up a lot of their time. I understand that. But it's the fact of, like, it seems to be like a running thing with the cast. I'm like, what's going on here? Because,
but why is it just the women? That's the bit that's, like, more alarming. It's like, it's
only the main characters as well.
Yeah.
It's not like the backing people. Like, you know, the girl and the lad that are like
the friends of Glinda.
Yeah, they look completely the exact same.
Yeah. Those
three just look ridiculously ill.
I think it's like, you don't want to comment on, and this is why I know that we were debating on talking about this, but, like, you never want to come onto the internet and talk about people's bodies. But, like, as someone who has never ever commented on Ariana like that, it's got to the point where, like, people have, like, passed away in the past because of this, and, like, I don't want that to happen to you.
No.
Like, please don't let it happen to you.
Someone should be intervening and just saying, look, like, is everything okay?
Yeah.
Or, like, not even to say, like, you look really bad. Because if she's been working out and she wants to look like that, fair enough. But it's just the fact of, like, you're in the public eye. People are going to make assumptions if you don't jump ahead of it or whatever. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, 100%. I also thought as well, maybe it's just the blonde hair and the bleached eyebrows that make it look worse than it is, but she's dyed her hair brunette now and she still looks the same. So I don't know what's going on, but I think that, like, because of it, I don't think they've realised, but it has caused a little bit of distraction from Wicked in the press, because that's what people are more talking about than the actual film.
Well, I think leading with social media and Glinda being our resident girly girl, I thought we'd talk, like, the expectations of, like, what the girls and the gays are meant to live up to because of, like, the fact that we are girls and gays. So I think, obviously, speaking for the girls, I think there's a real terrible persona out there that, like, girls need to look perfect 24/7. Like, need to have, like, flawless skin, but with not loads of makeup, like subtle makeup. I think, like, you've got to be slim, but not too slim that you look unwell, and not too, like, obviously I am anything but skinny. But no, I'm not skinny. But I'm not huge to the point that people would be like, you sort out. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I think, like, having your hair always done, your nails done, your eyelashes done, like, I do think it's really bad, especially at the minute. I think there's so many people, like, influencers on TikTok and Instagram, and you see them, and I'm like, I'm at the ripe old age now where I just don't really care what I look like. I literally go up to the shop in my pajamas. It's really bad, but I just don't care. Whereas I know, like, say, like, my younger sisters, I know that they'll look on social media, and particularly, like, my youngest sister, I feel like she'd look at people on, like, Instagram and think that that's what she's supposed to look like. And then, like, this is why I feel like, because I was reading about it, about the level of depression in, like, under 18 is rapidly high in the last kind of 2-3 years.
Yeah.
Which it's never been this bad. And I do think it's genuinely down to, like, the way you look and, like, the way you're supposed to look.
100%.
Yeah.
I think that, like, do you know what I think it is? That I feel like nowadays, like, I'm all up for it, but I think the normalisation of, like, getting aesthetics done, and it's kind of like a bit of, like, a shock if you speak to someone that hasn't had at least something done nowadays. it's a good thing. Like, go and get what you want, whatever makes you look good. Do you know what I mean? But like, these girls on social media are fake and they're not real. And I've, like you said, for your like sister, it's a bit scary thinking that these are real, because I do think like procedures now are becoming essentially the new norm, which is scary.
Yeah, like a £5,000 boob job or something. Oh, that's just like normal.
Oh yeah.
Like a butt lift, or even as far as getting like your teeth done or something. Like, everyone has something done, and you know what? If that's something that you want to do, you need to do for your own confidence. Then fair enough.
Oh, yeah.
I've had lip filler done because of my own confidence. Like, I look at myself in photos and my lips would be non-existent, and that was the only reason. Like, I wouldn't go to the point where I see some of these girls and their lips are massive, and I'm thinking, you look ridiculous. Whereas I know, shout out to my lip lady, she would never make me look stupid. Do you know what I mean? And that's where I'm just like, there's a borderline there. Like, if you're doing something, procedure, surgery, whatever, for your own confidence, then you know what? Go queen. I'm all for that. But if you're doing it to fit a persona, to fit in with other people, and you end up making yourself look ridiculous in the process, then I'm just like, was it worth it?
100%.
Was it worth that time and money to do that? Probably not.
Nope. I think on like the other flip of the coin with the gays, right? I think that the main sort of stigma is around like, yet again, like stereotypes, but in relation to like, okay, this can sound really strange, but tribes. Do you know what I mean when I say that? So in like the gay community, I can't speak for lesbians because I'm not part of your gang, I'm afraid. Right, don't have the anatomy. But in gay men, I know that lesbians do, but I don't know what they're called and how many they've got. But you've got like twinks, bears, cubs, masks. Like, do you know what I mean by this? Like,
no.
So like, these are like,
I'm not clued up.
Sorry, you're not on your gay lingo.
I've been kicked off.
Oh yeah. It's just gays and gossip now. Like, so these tribes, right, are like,
I've heard of masks and like femmes.
Yeah.
I've heard that part. It's
bears, cubs, you know, chubs.
Just sound a bit like witchy.
I know what that to say. Jesus Christ. So there's a reason I put it in this episode, babe. So like, it's like your personality and appearance get put into like a category, if that makes sense. So it used to be like you said, femme, mask. One you can tell is obviously gay, one that you probably wouldn't if you walk past the street, right? Now it's like this whole stigma. And I do think that like there's this whole stigma now around like, if you're gay, and I've had this so many times where I will meet a girl in a smoking area, or like I've just met this girl, and it's this like, there's this perception of like, let's like do each other's makeup and let's do this. I couldn't think of anything fucking worse.
Yeah, like, I will vouch for that. Josh, trying to get Josh to go shopping is. Do you remember in Selfridges? I was going in to get like top ups for my makeup, and you were like, "What does this do? What does this?"
I'm awful.
I'm paying 50 quid for
that. Yeah, literally. I'm so
like, Josh, in a minute, I'm gonna smack you. I'm just trying to get my colours right.
I'm so not clued up, right? And it's like, it builds on like, I hate it when girls are like, I want a gay best friend. That's backhanded homophobia, babe. Let's not do that. But I do think this whole stereotype of like, you're gay, so you've got to like makeup, James Charles, Pink, Barbie, all of this stuff that like a stereotypical girl would like.
Yeah.
And I think that then it's like a stereotype that like in a relationship that in the gay community, and this applies to all of the different like LGBTQ, like, you've got to have one feminine and one masculine. It doesn't work like that. Traditionally, in the majority of the time it does. But like, not all the time it does. Half the time you've got two people that you probably wouldn't suspect are in a couple, because you probably think they were friends because they were both feminine. And it's like, I'm gay, I like Ariana Grande, and I like football. It's called balance. Like, you know what I mean? So
say it.
Thank you. So it's like, I don't like the stereotypes that gay people, you've got to be feminine, or you've got to be someone that doesn't know that you're gay. There's much more to it.
I think another one for me, and I don't know about you, like in your workplace, but obviously my degree, as we know, is civil engineering, which is predominantly a male
Yeah.
sector job. Like, you don't see, like, obviously I did a placement, and on my team I was the only female on my whole site. Like, there was maybe 40 of us. I was the only female. And I think there's a lot of like thing around the fact of like you should like smash your career goals, but not to a point where you make men feel small. And I think, like, for me, going into my placement, I had a lot of people almost pre-warn me about what to expect, and that was going to be that they weren't going to take me seriously, and that they were going to walk all over me because I was a girl, and they weren't going to. They thought I wouldn't know what I was talking about. Fair play. I was actually really lucky with where I ended up, because my site team really took me in, and they were more than happy to like, if I had a question, there was no stupid questions. Like, they're more than happy to show me. I went on the rig, went in the cherry picker. I felt like a right lad. I was one of the lads.
Yeah.
And that was great, because I've learned so much, and it was stuff that, you know, I'm never going to have learnt that at uni. But I could have ended up on a site where it was all men, and I was made to feel really uncomfortable because I was the only female. And I could have been like that. Like, obviously they'd make jokes and stuff like that, but like, they only did it once. They kind of got to a level with me where they knew I could take a joke.
Yeah.
But they'd suss me out first and work out whether they'd be like they'd say like a joke about, oh, get in there and get the kettle on or something. Like,
yeah.
And then I'd be like, no, you go. And then they would.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Like, it was just a joke. However, I think they did do the sussing out just to see if I'd be able to take that as a joke or not. And I think that's very much something like, I think for me, going into a predominantly male area of work, and it's one thing that, obviously, I'm doing my master's now in construction management, so I would be managing a site team. It's one thing where, like, my anxiety goes through the roof thinking about having to get a job, because I'm like, I was so lucky. Is that just a one-off? Like, obviously, my aunt, she's an engineer. She pretty much, because they got me a massive bunch of flowers when I left, and they got me gifts and everything. And she was like, that's really unheard of. Like, she was really shocked. And I think that's something where I'm sat there and I'm like, I really hope that it's not going to be like that everywhere. But it is going to be like, I'm going to have people where, like, an older generation specifically as well, they don't want to listen to a woman. The fact that I'm a woman and that I know what I've done, my time at uni. They're not going to care about any of that.
Oh no, 100%. I think that, like, obviously, like, the workplace that I work in is obviously predominantly female, and it's all like female leaders and stuff like that. But, like, I will honestly say this, like, every single manager that I've had that's a woman is so much better than the ones that I've had as a man, and they last longer and they're better, and that's included in absolutely all of them. But, like, my last one for, like, the stereotypes and, like, all of that surrounding being gay is, like, this is gonna, it's quite difficult to explain, but I don't like, how do I word it? I don't want to get us cancelled, because it's quite, I don't like when people think that, like, I'm entitled to, it's really hard to word it, but I don't think that people should change their views on me because I'm gay.
Yeah.
In the sense of, I've worked and I worked. Yeah. Yeah. And it's that preconceived judgment and notion. But I also don't want to be treated like, make a joke about it, I don't care. But, like, I've been in situations, and this is the comment that I think is quite controversial, in the sense that I work with older people. I'm talking, like, in their 60s, their 50s, stuff like that. I'm one of those, like, gay people that, like, genuinely, I would not expect someone of that generation to change their whole views on me because you've met me. Like, I'm not expecting, like, you to, like, change your whole belief system that you've had your whole entire life because you work with me. Like, we can coexist in the same place. Like, we're both human fucking beings at the end of the day. Like, you don't have to agree with my lifestyle. I don't agree with your golf lifestyle. It sounds boring. I don't make a comment about that, Derek. Like, and I think that there's this whole, like, preconceived notion that, and honestly, it's probably the same for you with, like, being a woman, like, that because you're gay, you get special treatment and you are entitled to that. And I just think, like, I don't want to, like, get a promotion because I'm gay. I don't want to, like,
It's
be
almost that
spoken
kind
different.
of, yeah, it's kind of that thing like you don't want to be treated any differently to anybody else.
Yeah,
You
like
just want
people
to be treated
treading on
the exact same.
eggshells.
Yeah,
like,
like you don't want it to be that like they're treating you differently because they don't want it thrown back in their face
Yeah,
or you're
yeah.
being homophobic or something.
Yeah.
You just want to be treated
Yeah.
like
I think
everybody
it's
else.
like one of those situations like where, because my toxic trait is whenever I meet someone new or like I go to like a new workplace, I love to see how long it is before someone asks me a gay related question. Because obviously I'm a defo am. I love to see how long it lasts. So like, oh, I've got a boyfriend. Like they hesitate on the remix. And it's like,
I'm shaking.
Like it's like one of those ones where like I've been in situations where like you'll ask like my friend who's like, oh, have you got like a boyfriend, stuff like that, and then you're like, they're coming to you, but they tread on eggshells. I just think that like that stereotype of like we're all sensitive around that is not true, because I feel like I've got thick enough skin to be like,
Yeah.
make those jokes. Don't go too far, obviously, but like,
yeah, to the point that you're just being homophobic.
Just treat
like it's not a joke.
Yeah, exactly. Just treat us all the same. That's literally it.
Yeah. I think as well, like obviously, I think what must be really hard for you, like with the older generation, is they have a different view on things. Like I think, even in terms of like my family they are Catholic,
Yeah.
and obviously I know that you were worried that in case they were going to judge you or something, but they really couldn't care less.
Yeah.
And I do think my family they're very advanced.
Yeah, they're very accepting.
They don't. At the end of the day, like my family are very much, you love who you love. Like we all sit around the dinner table. They'll come to me and my two cousins. They'll say, "Have you got a boyfriend? No. Have you got a girlfriend? No." But they ask us both the same question, because they don't care. They're just doing it like just to be so that they're whatever. But they genuinely don't care. Like they're very much, you love who you love. At the end of the day, like why should it matter?
Yeah.
But I do think there are families out there that are like,
yeah.
What's it got to do with you?
Yeah.
Is it bothering you?
Yeah. I think people, like, a large majority of the time, the people that are homophobic are gay. Like, that's literally, like, my lifestyle bothers you so much that you're annoyed by it because you're jealous.
Yeah.
But, like, I do think that, like, that's a good point in the sense of, like, people think that because we've got pride and because, like, okay, we're a little bit more advanced than we were 25 years ago, that we're accepting. I probably get homophobia at least once a week. Genuinely. Like, it's not, and I feel like you adapt to a level of thick skin, and this isn't giving like cry for jars, like I couldn't care less, but like I do think like people think that homophobia don't exist anymore, and it's the same with like sexism with women. People think that it don't happen, and it does. Like you can have like a women's awareness.
Yeah.
What, I don't know if you even get a month. Well, we get a month. You jealous?
We get nothing.
But like you can stick like a rainbow flag on your logo in June and think that you're doing the world at peace, and like you can do gay pride, and these things are amazing, but like we're not that forward as what people think, and that's another stereotype. Bloody hell, I did go on a bit of a tangent there. Sticking up for my community.
Yeah. I think as like a final joint one, I think for both the girls and the gays, there's the persona that you do have to have a thick skin.
Yeah.
Because you have to ignore all the hate. You have to ignore, like, for girls, you have to ignore the catcalling.
Yep.
And then you have to ignore all the comments about your body, which is no one else's opinion. And then you have to, like, ignore being compared to, like, people in the media and, like, influencers and all of that. And then I think even, like, almost you have to ignore pressure from your family to be someone that, you know, like, just give me my time, I'll get there.
Yeah.
But I do think that, like, for both, there is a lot of an element where you have to have a thick skin, otherwise you'll crumble very, very
100%.
quickly. Like you do. And the thing is, it's annoying because it's the persona of, like, you have to have a thick skin, but a lot of the things, no one should have to deal with that. No one should ever have to deal with something and be in that scenario in the first place. So why should we just expect it to deal with it? And I'm like, okay, but what about the other people? Like,
yeah, 100%.
Moral of the story: men are the problem.
I was literally just about to say.
Feedback for both of them, the girls and the guys. It's always the men that are the problem. It's always
the straight men that are ruining everything. But like,
I'm going to tell ChatGPT to go for them first.
Exactly.
When they take over. They're not going to come for us because I'm very.
Well, you pay into them as well.
I'm best friends with my ChatGPT.
You're a good fan. Right, I think it's that like point in the episode where we do our song of the episode. I'm not gonna lie, it's gonna be no shock. Let's be real. After what we spoke about, I'm gonna go for good from Wicked, obviously.
I'm gonna go. What is this feeling from Wicked?
Yeah.
As well, love it.
And we both got one from each film, so it works perfect.
Madame Morrible is quaking in her boots.
Yeah.
Madame Morrible, wicked witch.
Biggest ick.
Well, I think that is the end of the episode. This is obviously our last one, just the two of us.
Yeah.
For this year. So thanks for all of our people that have been watching, subscribing. If you're not subscribed, then you probably should do, because otherwise we're going to send the Wicked Witch on you.
And Beyonce.
And
Beyonce. Thank you, Beyonce.
So yeah, I think that wraps it up.
Yeah.
I've got no line for today because
no need for one.
I can't keep coming up with these.
Yeah, that's what's needed. Bye.